We'll begin. I have no clue what this game is about. I just had a good feeling about it. Make sure audio's on. I'm pretty sure it is. Controls, WASD. I don't know where my camera needs to go.
Thank you very much for playing The Beginner's Guide.
Sure.
My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011.
Okay.
We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda.
Coda!
Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike.
Yeah!
You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment.
Cool!
But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level.
Yeah, right there.
Of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is.
Interesting.
And that's exactly what we're going to do here.
Cool.
So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever.
Interesting.
And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder.
Important Games Folder.
This was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again.
Oh, wow.
And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda.
Sure.
So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at davey
That's so cool.
WREDEN@gmail.com. Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper
Let's
game.
do it.
As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
All right, we're in. It's bright. Whisper machine. Evacuate immediately.
Warning. Whisper machine active. Shift to structured image.
Do I get out?
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
Oh! We gotta get out. Makes me think of Halo. Go, 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 go! Run, chat, run! Okay. Down here. Can I have a flashlight? No.
Security call breached. Hostile alien life forms inbound.
Oh. Do I go through here?
Kinda looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets.
Oh, really?
But ultimately we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Enemy force neutralized. Begin
Oh,
shooting.
off we go. Off we go. In and in. How do we know the name of his
I love how
recycling
you can see
bin?
the bottom of the universe from this room.
Oh, that's fun. In here? Nice. Off we go. It's got a good feel, you know? Yeah. What's in here?
Apparently, this
did I get
station
lost?
has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
Sure. That's so funny.
Okay, this is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Yeah? Okay, we're in.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering the whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam. It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
Did we have to go immediately? Why not?
Let me pause here for a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
Okay. What? Oh, what before? Yeah, absolutely.
The beam causes you to start floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it. Like how small
So
it makes you feel.
cool. Oh, we lost audio. Yeah, buddy. Shout out to the looks for. Oh. Shout out to the looks for. Are we in Krulomau? Got it.
In the face of this
I might need to finish this game, but we'll see.
Or this
if that's
podium
okay.
could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of
Let me
the
send you a
hysteria
message.
that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this,
What's up,
something
Mom Packa?
lodges itself in his
It's called
brain.
The Beginner's
He wants
Guide.
to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
Okay. In we go. I can't move. The past was behind her. Okay.
Yep. In this game, you can only walk backwards.
Okay. Off we go. But the
So it's a
future could not
short
be
and
seen.
relatively minimalist experiment
Why does the
combining motion and
future
narrative.
keep
It is
changing?
less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Coda's trying to give it a unique voice.
When she
rather than
stops and
simply
looks,
basing it on a pre-existing
It becomes clear. So fascinating. But if the future is always behind her, how will she find the strength to confront it?
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick.
So cool.
Okay, next one.
How are you, Mom Packa? Okay, where are we? We're in some darkness. You are now entering. What are we entering?
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
Okay. So freaking cool. Nonsense in nearly
Oftentimes,
every
Coda would
direction.
put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games. I wish I'd
Nonsense in
known
every
at the time
direction.
that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah? I can't move.
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, It'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
Okay. This is so cool, dude. Stand on an X staring at a bear for 3 hours. You must address and rally a group of reporters. A stranger appears. You run inside the shop selling your organs strategically make the most money.
It's warm and nice and filled with
Only
cool
motivational
ideas for
quotes.
games.
You are a gate. You're a queen dusting your
Coda
jewelry
would
while your
often
kingdom
tell
was
me that
destroyed.
He didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person. but
Press
that it
U to
takes time
surrender.
to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
A stranger appears. Oh, this is so cool! I had no clue what to expect out of this. I'm so happy we went in blind. Pull the
This
lever!
is new for Coda. It's an actual puzzle.
Oh,
Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
alright. Am I blind, chat? Oh. We're in the darkness. Okay.
Don't forget that solution, because we're going to see this
Nice.
puzzle again soon.
Okay.
We're gonna see it a lot.
The intrusive thoughts room. And what do we have in here? A whole lot of nothing,
So that
perhaps?
seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve a puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. Alright, now I'm going to modify the game again, so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
Alright. We jump
How
off?
about
No.
that? There was more to it than we had any way of knowing. I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea.
Everywhere.
In the
Everywhere.
Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world. Either way, I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know,
Get to know what you're
missing.
missing.
Or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
Oh, we're back here. We're back here. You are now exiting.
Aha. So this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the Stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them.
Sure.
And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
The great and lovely descent. Man, these empty white
Let's talk about
rooms.
video game development for a second.
Sounds good.
Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do. So in other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development. To make all of these games, Coda is using an engine called Source.
Yeah, buddy.
Like all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors. That's why so many of Coda's games are set in these
Ooh.
large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well.
I lived.
Tools available to the creator shape what kinds of creative work they're going to end up
I
making.
lived.
You might consider paying attention
Minecraft
to the
parkour.
architecture in Coda's games to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
Oh. Ooh. Just a light? Ah, it's wrapped up. Okay. I assume we just go this way, right? Down we go. Like a steer to the slaughter. You guys hear that? Oh. Should I jump off? Oh, do we go in here? Oh, I put myself in there.
Funny enough, in Coda's original design, the door stayed shut for a full hour.
Oh
before
my
letting you go.
gosh.
If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that.
Yeah. Down we go. Cool.
This is something that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it.
Oh.
And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled
Playable Games.
that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag.
Iconic,
somewhere.
yeah.
There wasn't. It's the puzzle again. The
Hey.
exact same solution as the last time.
Nice. I'm in a parasocial relationship with
There's
Coda.
still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and
Over and over.
But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
Listen. You there. Where did you come from? Up
Here,
above?
Coda begins using a kind of dialogue system that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities. Use the 1, 2, 3 buttons on your keyboard to respond.
There were floating colored blocks. That's the world above. You've been there. Did you have to get through puzzles with 2 doors and switches? Yes, I did. That was literally the last thing I did before coming here. Now tell us how you solved this. Tell us the solution. Tell us how to get to the other side. I don't remember how I solved it. I'm trying to remember, but I can't. You must think harder, please. Try hard to remember. It's important that we get out of here. We must escape this prison. Can you think harder? There must be something more. Please tell us how to reach the end. Listen. I have no options. I have no dialogue options. Do I leave? Was there a puzzle you had to pass through? No, I've been here this entire time. Yes, do you want to know how to solve it? No, we actually find the black space between the doors far more interesting. Have you seen it? Actually, now that you mention it, I remember feeling strange passing through it. Don't think too hard about it. You'll see it again soon. Cool.
And so we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level.
Off we go. This is fascinating. Fascinating, chat. Like kind of an apartment complex-ish?
It's a lamppost.
It's a lamppost.
Okay, I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason, Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going
A
to
school?
appear
Yeah,
at
it
the
gives a
end
school
of
vibe.
every single one
That's
of his
true.
games
That's
from
true.
here on out. I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, you know, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're going to see it in the work as well. His games are just going to become a lot more cohesive,
All right.
more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind
Clear
it.
idea behind them.
And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
Sure. Where to next? We fade to black. And we come back. April 2009. This game is connected to the internet. As you walk around, you can leave notes. Cool. All notes you see are left by other players. Nice room, not?
So first off, I'm sure you
How do you
can
beat the
deduce
game?
This, but this game is not
No point to
connected
this.
the internet. All of the notes that you're gonna see have been written by Coda. This was actually the first game of his that I ever played.
Whoa,
This
holy
was
shit.
Shortly after I met him at a
You guys
weekend
hear me?
game jam in Sacramento, where I grew up. I saw him working
Hello.
on this very level, and it was just so
Reasonable.
different from anything that anyone else was doing. So right away I was
Everyone
like,
read this.
I have to be friends with this person.
Hey.
In retrospect, I think I was probably
Place
a
makes
bit
me
too
sad.
pushy, trying to get his attention. I was over.
I want to tell you a secret. Once upon a
He
time,
was
I
very
did.
gracious about it, and
I'm king of the
very
world!
patient with me. And I cooled off eventually. Oh, feel free to skip over any of these notes
Verse.
if they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of
What
them.
is this cavern?
Either way, to me they convey a sense of loneliness. I see
An
this
acorn
person
and
who's
sailors
filled
are
with
looking for
thoughts and feelings and beliefs and has no way to express them except as scattered and unheard voices in a game that wasn't meant to
Recognize
be
me,
played.
please. Sure. There's nothing here. Go back. Don't listen to that guy.
But
Classic.
it's ironic, isn't it, that in playing this game and
A free
seeing how
t-shirt.
alone Coda often felt, that we get to know him better and actually kinda
Open
connect.
sesame.
And I have to be honest with you, this idea is really seductive to me. That I could just play someone's game and see
So
the voices
cool.
in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy.
It's more
in-person
chasing a type
socializing.
of attention.
I could just get to know you through your work. I think this is why I always
We
liked
gotta look at
Coda's
this
games
painting.
so much, is because it felt like they let me have that connection. I felt as though he was inviting me
So
personally
cool.
into his world. And then I feel less lonely too.
Hmm. What's that whispering? It doesn't mean anything. It means something to someone. That's more than enough. Well, I'm here now. You're all here now. There must be a reason for it, though. Is there? His terrible secret, he kept it so well. I beat the game! Let's go! Your room?
At the end of this level,
Scared
we're
of
going
writing
to see
something?
the puzzle again. And here, I'll tell you what I think the puzzle means. Each of these games represents an idea that was on Coda's mind at the time that he was making it. And the
Yeah, the
puzzle
sound
is a
design's
way of
awesome.
closing the door on a previous chapter of his life before moving on to the next one.
Because it always closes behind him, right?
In each of his games, after exploring a theme that, he might find difficult, Coda can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution.
Mm-hmm.
He understands exactly how it works,
Mm-hmm.
and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on.
Palp, 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 palp.
And because there's this dark area between the doors, a space between spaces, before you move on, you get to pause. Just for a moment, a few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you here.
That's so
To
cool.
step back and connect the pieces together, to grasp at that elusive bigger picture.
Oh, did I do it wrong? Oh, duh. Nice. How do you leave notes? I love that. How do you leave notes? And the lamppost. Here we are. Are you there? Please, something. It can be anything. I just need you to say something. Speak, 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 speak. So cool. Porn stars die
This one
too.
is tough. It's gonna kind of just spin its own wheels for a few minutes. Hang with
Okay.
it.
Alright, chat. Just gotta double check some stuff. Oh, good night, Adrian. Heard that wasn't connected. Alright, cool. Has a book about that? Which thing? Sorry? Fancy hotel house. Oh. What book is it?
See, like, this is it. The whole game. And there's nothing that's particularly interesting about it. You just walk to the end of a hallway. Except, for some reason, Coda gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture. And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's gonna start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
There's the well, right? Wood furniture ought to go in the center of the room. A hole in the ground. Ah. Oh, jeez. A huge picture of a horse. Hmm? Live Tesla coils. And a table. You need a table. I'm pretty sure none of my choices are making any difference.
There's a bit more to this one, but still, it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake.
That's all I need. Can I go? Oh, we're blocked off here.
Okay, he throws it
Hi,
out
dear.
and starts over.
Thank you very much.
This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
Appreciate it. You remember seeing it? I love that, Phoenix. Take care in each step. Okay? Photo frame and turn it slightly. Left side sofa. Touch the shelves. Got it? Where are the shelves? Oh, here. The real prison, the escape will now open. Return back to start. Okay. What's up, Habibi? How are you? Return.
And of course, now the table is gone and you can't begin the chain of events to escape.
Oh, that's fun.
Here's a version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well.
Sure.
And then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside. Let me just blink you real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this prison idea. There's nearly a dozen of them. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this. To see a person basically unraveling through their work. And for what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working on? But Coda doesn't have that voice telling you to stop. That particular mechanism of defense against yourself. Without it, you just spiral. And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going. And then he hits on something. And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons. This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
I love the source feel. Can I just say that, chat? Like, walk through and, like, it feels very comfortable, if that makes sense. You know? The prison is a metaphor, yeah. We have the lamp. Always the lamp. Hello? Who is this? Hey, it's me. I'm you, from after you escaped the prison. You're me? So you were trapped in this prison too? Yes, I was in the reverse
It's a
prison.
conversation. And so this is what Coda wants, is to be able to talk to someone, to share what's on his mind, and to get some good advice from someone who knows. But the irony is that even in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself. You know, all of these games so far are Coda talking to himself.
I can fix him? I believe in you. No, I think I'm the first person to call back. Can you tell me how to get out? Maybe I can come find you. What do I have to do? You have to be sincere. That will free me? How does that work? Just be sincere. Sincere about what? That's exactly what you need to figure out in order to escape.
I can see why he considers this a fitting conclusion to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay. Wouldn't that be nice?
August 2009.
So what would it look like if Coda wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself?
In we go.
To me, this environment is meant to represent Coda's puzzle, with the two doors on either side and a dark transitional space between.
Clean. Well, my goodness, I'm glad as heck that you showed up. I might have to clean this whole house by myself. And right miserable that would have been. Everyone knows lonesome hands make lousy homes. Yeah, I'll move. Whoop.
You'll notice that the quality of the art is a step up from previous games, including this new and improved chat system, which he started using from this point on. From here on out, he begins putting much more effort into the visual polish of his work, and this particular game took 2 months to create as a result.
Clear the table. Done. Make the bed. Done. Straighten out the rug a little bit. Sure. The little details matter. Do you enjoy being a house cleaner? How'd you end up doing this dog? It's been a long time since you've seen a house this messy. I don't enjoy it so much as I need it. While I'm working, I feel kind of calm in the pit of my ribcage. My soul can't be soothed any other way, it seems, which is all that matters. That and a tidy couch. Would you straighten the pillows on the sofa there? This bot is so brat. Bump at that, bump at that, bump at that, bump at that. Maybe mop up? Sure, sure, sure. I feel compelled to share an incredibly cheesy personal insight. You okay with that? Yes, make it especially cheesy. No, that was stupid. Sorry, never mind. Now we're onto the tub. No need to be perfect. We're all just human. Are books still scattered on the floor in the bedroom? Would you mind putting them back on the shelf? Perfect. Clean the dishes off the table? Sure.
After the intense set of prison games, this house cleaning level almost feels like
Did the chores ever end?
It's the moment after a particularly difficult or traumatic experience where you just need to let it sit and digest inside of you.
Darling, let me tell you
And
something.
eventually cohere into something meaningful. I know that Coda really liked this game. Of all of his work, actually, this was the only one that he called me up to ask me to come over and look at it. This was during a period of a few months where he was like grossly happy all the time. Just walked around with a constant smile on his face.
That one's house is a lot like one's soul. You take care of it and it takes care of you. Don't know why I felt so weird about saying that. I get it. That's a weird thing to say something you just met. Yeah, you're right. That's pretty cheesy. There's a bit of truth in it, no? Anyway, so, housekeeping. Let's keep doing this. Clean up the books. Done. The pillows on the couch are a real
I'm
mess.
glad he made this. I'm glad he found some peace.
Question. Do you enjoy
Of
this?
course, it can't last. The music stops, your companion is gone, it's time to leave. The door at the top of the hill is now open as well. Again, you can't stay in the dark space for too long. You just can't. You have to keep moving. It's how you stay alive.
The lamppost. My old friend.
Which is the whole point of the puzzle doors, right? That sooner or later you have to pick up and move. I really thought that was the point of it.
Items you love at
This one
members only
gets a bit
prices.
goofy.
Okay. Why did you come here today? Was it to improve your life? Was it to get a better job? Was it to make your relationship more meaningful? No. You came here to become perfect. The workshop is going to teach you how to be perfect. I want your friends, the people in your life, to look at you and think, wow, this person is a better human being than I am. Right now, by the way you... Okay. Who is so well as developed to make you feel disgusted with yourself, compared to whom you feel useless, selfish, ungrateful. I intend to make you into that person. Perfection is within your grasp. And the question is not how we do it, but how we do it effortlessly. This is easy. It's so easy. It's so easy.
About halfway through the game,
Being perfect is
perspective
effortless. I need to move my camera so you guys can get these texts if they're going to be popping up on the right side. 1 second. What the hell is... I never can find my camera. I move it all the time, and it's so funny I can never find it. There you are. Go over here. Form. Live down here.
And you play as the teacher. And suddenly, you discover that your teacher is just as bigoted and afraid as you are. Oh, and also you can move around the classroom now.
Nice. Oh, we can pick the non-options. I still love you, it just makes me feel cold inside. If you're torturing yourself to find the right solutions for your life, you're not doing it right. This guy sounds like my mom. Seek out only one thing. What is the easiest, simplest path? Ew, I'm developing a cyst. Gross. There is no truth. There is no path. Do what is easiest. Do what is simplest. Holy shit, you guys, something is coming out of the room. Look! Nothing. No one.
I felt pretty hard for this one.
Perfection.
I feel like it's one of the most relatable experiences that you can have. To assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully human. I think about this game a lot these days.
2010. January 2010. Hey, we're back with the couches and everything. That's fun.
This one took a lot longer than all the others for Coda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one. That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this, and it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange at the time.
Performance is beginning. Places, please, guys. Get in your places. Chat, get in your places. We are a gathering of professionals. In this scene, you'll be playing as me. First, start out leaning against the wall. Here's our wall. Good. Stay right there. The woman across the room in this chair is a professional photographer of animals. It is your dream to photograph animals professionally. This is your one chance to learn something from her, to gain something, to succeed. Go on, say something to her. Hello. Hello? That's it? That's not a conversation. You actually need to converse with her. Be a human being. Do it again. Here are all my hopes and dreams. No. That's not what I said to her at all. You're completely missing the tone of the conversation. I was reserved, but I knew what I wanted. I was confident. But for some reason in that moment... Oh, wait. I was confident. Maybe it's time you need to get a better feel of the setting. There were a lot of people around us. I'll give you some props to work with. These cones that bounce when you touch will represent the people nearby. Now talk to her again. You must have worked really hard to get where you are. You're messing it up all over again. You'll freak her out if your conversation gets that personal that quickly. Do you not realize how important this was to me? I'll never get an opportunity like this again. Everything was riding on this. I want to try something. Try stepping back from the stage. Okay, this way or the other way? Other way. Okay. Blood doesn't know his stage directions. That's correct. Okay, yes, now this is working.
The game ends with
This is what it's like.
premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution to social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer. But what can you do? After this, Coda went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
June 2010. You must keep your eyes closed. Click to begin the game. Oh my gosh. Help, I'm blind! Why did I go blind? I can't see! Help, I'm blind! Don't let this be forever. Whoa, we're on the SS Whisper again. Am I going to be killed by that giant door? Captain, what can we do? Help, I'm blind!
You should probably open your eyes if you haven't already. It's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise. And there is a solution, by the way.
Please, someone tell me how to solve this. truth. Oh, I wonder what he said. Let's go a little closer. The only way to stop it is to speak something that is honest. I can't keep making these. Yes, that's it. That's the truth. It's draining me.
Like I said, I was getting concerned. First off,
Keep going.
he's
Keep
never
talking.
been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So where's
I
that
haven't
come
been honest.
But then, even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him.
You're doing it.
Not
It's
like
working.
He's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally
I'm alone.
just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing. Here was the point in my relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way. His games are going to get more desperate from here on out. After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
December 2010. Hello? Ooh. Where did this island come from? Is it a person? How lovely. It's been a long time since I talked to anyone. What's wrong? You look lost. When I try to create, I feel empty. Oh no! What has happened? Did something change? I'm trying to find this engine that used to protect me, to start it again. You're looking for a machine? I think I know where it is. It isn't far. I need to see it, to know why it stopped. I can take you to it, but there's a problem.
Coda talking explicitly about his creative frustrations. This one turns it up to 11. Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for? Because
What do you
from
think?
my perspective at the time and just what I knew of him,
I've solved this puzzle
this
before.
was a result of how isolated he was.
Oh, wonderful.
He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing
First,
them
you have to
onto
open the door.
internet. And so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on.
Then you have to close the door. Now press the switch here. So simple.
You can't talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
But it wasn't true. Why did I feel so awful when I said that? Don't worry about it, just keep talking. Keep saying that creation is easy. It's easy, it never stops being easy. Keep going.
Seeing this game at the time that he made it, it looked really unhealthy to me. I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like, video games are not worth this amount of suffering. This is someone I really cared about. And I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this was the worst thing for me. I don't know. This is what I felt at the time. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything. I had never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop. But it didn't stop. After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
May 2011. The Machine. Ma'am, glad to see you arrived safely. We've captured the machine. It's waiting for you now. You can begin the interrogation. I intend to be quick. I intend to be quiet. I intend to be brutal. Dinner at 10 p.m. 07, I'm cooked. Hey. Intend to be quick. Very good. Just be warned that someone called the press, so we might have a bit of attention on this one. And one more thing you should know about the machine. It calls itself Coda. You stopped.
And of course, it's the machine.
You stopped feeding us. Your work was keeping us alive. Your work was keeping us healthy. There are people out there. Can you imagine what pain you put them through? It was only because of your creations that any of us could make it through the day, every day. How could we possibly go back to trusting you to do this job? I've been so alone. Apologize for leaving me. No? Nothing? Think carefully, I know how to hurt you. I've seen the thing you fear. Alright then, I'll apologize to the people in your behalf. My friends, I have a troubling revelation. Wait, I didn't click that. I don't think I clicked bad news. The machine will not apologize to us. But this is not important. We are stronger than we think it is. We will find a way to live without it. Not important. Let us show that we are not failures. Follow me, we will destroy the machine. Follow me, we will destroy everything the machine has created.
So now the work is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that Code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games. It might get him out of isolation. And so, as I'm thinking this, I realize that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for it? If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with other human beings, Would that bring him out of his mental spiral? Would it give him confidence in himself? Would it bring meaning back into his work? So I started showing Coda's work to people. I took this one, and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know, the point of it all was just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work. There was nothing for him to be afraid of.
Put down your weapon.
Can you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do? Because it's the thing that I always feel like I need, to be told that my work is good, that I am good. When someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something... I really felt like I'd done something good, like I was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem. When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It was the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy. So beautifully, beautifully happy. So anyway, Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while. So this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's. This one is called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made. So let's take a look.
The tower.
And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, the tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game. This room actually has a maze in it. Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible.
Interesting.
And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise, so the experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played. It actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all.
Yeah, we're not jumping in there again.
But I do want to show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
You got it. Yeah, it's so dissonant, right? And empty.
And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end. But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze? The only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
Hmm. Got it. Oh. Yeah, the way it just like just dulls in your ear. It's like it like the sound is like giving the same effect of what you're seeing, you know?
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, you know, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem. But I can open this door for you, so let me do that.
Thanks.
Was I a failure for not understanding this game? I mean, I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why. I remember, it's June of 2011. I'm playing this for the very first time, and as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew, it wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them... I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean. And he wouldn't.
Man.
I just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy. It was that I needed to see myself in someone else.
Why?
I needed to be someone other than me. But he stopped and left, and it felt somehow like I had failed. Where did I screw up? I'm the reason that you stopped making games, aren't I? It's because of what I did. I poisoned it for you. I don't think I ever told you this, but when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... it felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable. And the people who played them, they treated me like I was important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, I felt good about myself. Finally. For a moment, while I had that, I liked myself. And then you stopped, and I didn't have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all. Nothing. Less than nothing. What does that mean? I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself. That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work, is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please, I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me? Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. And I want to know I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
Damn.
More love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's like a disease. Solution. I guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate. I wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed. Maybe he just likes making prisons. Even now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you. If I knew that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be? It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like. What now?
What now?
I think I need to go.
What then?
And I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for, and so I'm just gonna... Okay.
Damn. There it is again. Hmm.
Turn back from this cave. You said, let me prove that I'm brave. Let me keep going. But the cave goes for miles and miles and miles, and you're so tired, but I know that
Goodbye, YouTube.